Welcome back to On a Journey with Giselle. I am your host, Giselle, and I am so excited that you tuned in today's show. If you are a new listener, thank you so much for tuning in. And to my returners, we are on this journey. What are we on? This journey of consistency. That is the theme of the year, staying consistent, remaining, but being our best self and remembering that we define our destiny. And there's a lot that comes with that. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about something that is new, like, wow. It's not really new, but it's new. We are still on that topic of consistency. As we're wrapping up the first quarter, entering into the last month of the first quarter, March, a few things come with that. That is one of my favorite times. Let's name a few. Springtime. Let's name another one. I don't like that I'm losing sleep, but I do like daylight savings. So that's coming. We're going to talk about tips on how you can transition into spring and daylight savings. Then I want to talk about reflection, like how let's reflect, right? Sometimes we reflect mid-year or at the end of the year, but like what if we reflected each quarter to make our best year, make our year our best year? Like think about that. So we're going to reflect and talk about how we stay consistent or what we need to stay consistent in and setting intentions for a quarter two. Okay. And then the best thing comes in quarter two. We started off with G month, specifically G and Gab. Shout out to my twin. But yeah, so my birthday, and that is specifically another reason why transition is so meaningful to me, because we are starting off in a new quarter on my birthday month. And then it's springtime, like all things new, birthing, like, so yeah, birth month. That is actually when I celebrate my new year. I give y'all the holiday. Y'all can have the holidays. Have them. But when April comes, when springtime comes, that's the new year for me. That's rejuvenation and newness. So be ready for that. But yeah, but something exciting is also coming in quarter two, and I want y'all to be prepared for that. If I can push it out at the end of quarter one, I'm going to try, but if not, it definitely will be here quarter two, and that is my ebook. Yes, y'all, I have created an ebook. I have been reflecting on my own journey, and I realized how important this topic of consistency is, and it applies in all seasons. And that's why I created this book, because it's a guide to help you stay on track no matter what journey you're on. And I developed this from just realizing that over time, looking and reflecting over journal entries, and saw how I stay consistent in certain seasons. And I really wanted to show y'all that. So we talk about nutrition, we talk about mindfulness, we talk about fitness, so all things there. And there's some surprises that I'll discuss later as this is coming out. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. Talking about, let's get into it. Y'all ready to get into the show? You see, I got the hair out. The hair has really been growing too. Simple, like I said, keeping it oiled. I got my braids. Y'all saw me rock those for the last quarter of 2024. And, just kept it real healthy. Aloe. I did my rice water. I haven't done as much. Kept my oils on together. I did get my perimeter redone. So yeah, the hair's growing. So yeah, we are now talking about quarter one. And I really wanted to talk about this because I feel like I said in the beginning, we are often always talking about, hey, like this went well, like all year, or I want to do this halfway through the year. But what if we can nip it in the bud and like transition? And that's some of the things that, I've noticed, like when I've had an interesting first quarter, like I've experienced some things that, I honestly never thought I would experience, more personal, relational, but it taught me some things, and it taught me how to forgive. It taught me how to love. It brought me closer to God. And I really cannot wait until I talk about it and I'm ready to like fully unpack it, because I'm still unpacking, and it's something that's different. And I think the biggest surprise of it is how would you say it? My demeanor. My demeanor. Like, my demeanor has been completely opposite of how I've expected it to be, given the things that I've encountered. And I think that's something I'm really proud of. Like, I really am. And while at the same time I'm proud, I've also learned through it some things I need to work on. And their challenges. I did start back therapy my last quarter of 2024. So those things are being talked about. And they're just steps I'm going to have to take. But I definitely, recognize some patterns that I need to, nip in the bud. I recognize, some growth in my own self. And that's something that I want to give myself props on, because I beat myself up. And believe it or not, y'all, I'm a big overthinker. And I say that to say not like just naming something, but because I have so much care and because I'm so passionate, like that is why I overthink. And I realized that I was on the way home today and I was just like, this is me. I do overthink. I am this certain way. And it's not because I did think about it as a flaw, and I sometimes always think about it as a flaw. But today I was given a revelation. It's not a flaw. It's because of who I am. That is the way I think, the way I think. And I've been just learning how to channel my inner thinking. Mindfulness practices such as meditation, taking walks. I've been taking walks without my phone and really just connecting with nature. Shout out to my brother. If you have not had a chance to check out that episode on with my brother on transition and staying consistent in that, go ahead and check that out. But I incorporated mindful walks into this last quarter, which have been really helpful. So that is some of the things that I've been dealing with, my challenges through relationships, figuring out this dating life, figuring out how to do it, figuring out how to just do it for me and not what I think other people think I should do, if that makes sense. We could tap into that in another episode. Some growth is just, like I said, my demeanor on how I'm handling situations, along with also typically when I encounter things that are devastating or very like alterating, transitioning in my life, I take a stance of like, woe is me, not gonna lie. And I go down for a while. But through this, I stay consistent in my podcast. I stay consistent in working out. I stay consistent in getting closer to God. And it reminded me of Proverbs 3-5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not onto your own understanding. Acknowledge him in all your ways and he will direct your path. And that's something that I really held on to in this last quarter. At the beginning of this quarter, is that. And some personal wins is just, like I said, staying consistent, but also not like just giving myself grace, like really giving myself grace. I've done two things, like I spoke about it, the ebook, and I also have financially done some things in this first quarter that, I'm very proud about. So how do you find balance between evaluation and self-compassion? And that simply put is grace. Like, when you're evaluating yourself, it can be hard because then you find things that it seems negative. But then that's where you have to have that self-compassion. But let's think about why you overthink. And I've always reflected it back to my relationships and whatever passions I have. And I'm not talking about just like intimate relationships. I'm talking about friends, family, like not work relationships, but just like my credibility. And so like I overthink because I am passionate about and I care. So when I feel that those two things are being jeopardized or not paid attention to, it allows me to create these scenarios in my head because I am so passionate and I care so much. So and I am learning to give myself grace. Like, yes, this is me, but it does not define me. Yes, this is how I feel, but it's not going to affect me. And that's where I have to go to the mindful walks. I have to go to the self-talk of like positive self-talk. Like, stop. You're overthinking. Low, like high key, let me tell you what I just did before I even recorded this episode. I was thinking about something I did not want to think about that was running in my head. And I was like, you know what? Let me go get this water, this ice water. I put my face in there for 20 seconds. Well, it was 15 and then 20, but twice. And I just like allowed that shock to help me not overthink. And there's little steps I'm taking, but it's about giving yourself grace. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do. Like as we're wrapping up this last quarter, take this first quarter, take this month to reflect on your own progress in this first quarter. Is it going the way you want it to go? Is it going how you put on your vision board? Those are things that you could do now in this month, right? And speaking of vision boards, I didn't create a vision board at the top of the year. Like I said at the top of this video, my new year starts on my birthday. That is my new year, holidays, whatever. That's man's tradition. Say what you want to say. Let me be me. But yeah, so I did not create a vision board at the top of the year. This year I decided though, because it does say in the Bible, write out the vision, make it plain. So I did have some headings and some things that I wanted to work on that I wrote in my notes section. And as this quarter has evolved, I have decided that, this month I'm going to take time to do my vision board. So as I enter into a new year, I'm going to make that vision plain. And so that's why I don't wait to the end of the year to do it. This year my goal is to try to do it every quarter, but definitely the start of this quarter and maybe another check-in right before the end of the year. And what I did last year is I created a digital vision board because I'm always on my computer doing, some form of podcast or whatever ventures I have going on, right? And then the year before that, I did a visual one, and that's hanging up in my room. And why is it still hanging up in my room from 2 years ago? Because those things on that vision board still play to me today. Like, I put a lot of quotes and a lot of sayings and like things that I am expecting, and some of those things I have not yet gotten, so I'm going to keep that there until they come. So how do you create a vision board? For me, I create a vision board by really just putting out scriptures, sayings that relate to me and what I want. So I'm really focusing on consistency. I'm focusing on grace. I'm focusing on alignment. And that's what I really want in this next season, along with joy, along with healthy relationships, with an intimate relationship, a healthy like community of friends, a healthy relationships within my family, along with just overall healthy relationships with my relation with myself. So I put that on the board, and then I just go to Canva. I use it digitally on Canva, and I'll just like pick out different things that relate to what I'm seeing. And it's so interesting because last year on my digital one, I put my trips and like my podcast, and I put money and different things that came out. And y'all, I went on my Jamaica trip. I went to Puerto Rico. My podcast, I stayed consistent in that. I grew in understanding of financial stocks. I gained a relationship with God. There was things that on there that maybe it might not look like what you're putting the picture on there as, but God will turn it into what you are actually asking. So yeah, that's really key. Like, I want to put that out there. So yeah, as you're reflecting on your own progress in this first quarter, maybe do a vision board in your second quarter or third quarter, okay? Like, whenever you want to do it, but just make that vision plain. It does say that. And that's why in my ebook, I wanted to focus on staying consistent, especially with fitness and personal growth. And if that's something that you're working towards, you'll see great resources in my ebook that is coming out to help you build discipline and momentum. So another thing that I noticed with this first quarter was, it was coming out of holiday season, and, it was like you feeling like you're starting over. So, it was like you kind of just tried to get by. It was a new year, new me type of thing. No, not really for me, but for some people, right? And if that's you, it might feel overwhelming. You had the holidays and you're transitioning into, a new year, and then like Valentine's Day, and it just might be all overwhelming because it's people, and you might have felt that you haven't been able really to focus on what you really want in this year. And that's why a daylight savings, though you lose an hour of sleep, it is really great because it's a new time along with spring. And I wanted to provide you with some tips that kind of can help you with that adjustment, because it's approaching, like legit, it's approaching. And something that is big for your mindfulness, for your mental and physical, emotional, all of that is sleep. So before this time comes, maybe you can try to build up your sleep bank. And what do I mean by that? If you want to start now, if you want to start today, if you want to start tomorrow, go ahead. Daylight savings is March 9th, right? So go ahead a couple days before, or even a week before. Like, make sure that you are trying to go to bed maybe 15 to 30 minutes before, just to help you with that adjustment. Preparation equals progress. And I'm not going to say that whole long thing, but that's what it's saying. Preparation equals progress. And then maybe you can also adjust your wake up time. So if you're going to bed a little bit earlier, adjust getting up a little bit earlier too. That will help you with that adjustment of you're waking up instead of waking up an hour early, right? Than you're normally used to waking up. So think about that. That's a suggestion. I've done it before. It really does work. Actually, my body's kind of already trying to adjust, and it's waking me up earlier. So yeah, take that tip into account. Another one is to dim lights. Like, so when you get home after you've done your little thing and it's time to relax, try to dim your lights a little bit earlier than what you normally would, to help you with that adjustment of trying to go to bed early. Okay. Next is, before, like, the sun is going to be coming out longer, right? So after daylight savings, right? and March 9th, March 10th comes, try to be in the sun more. Or if you can't do that, try to get in the sun in the morning to help regulate your internal clock. That's just going to help your body and your circadian rhythm and your sleep rhythm. So that's an adjustment and a tip that you can apply to just help you adjust to daylight savings. Another one is just limit your alcohol and caffeine intake. I've been doing that very well in quarter 1. Shout out to me. Only had 1 shot, and I will probably, at this time of this video airing, I'm gonna probably have a few more. Not like crazy, but it is my best friend's birthday, so I am gonna celebrate that, and it's my little sis birthday, so I'm definitely gonna celebrate that. I am going to be in control. That is my plan. So eating, hydrating, etc. But to speak to the tip for daylight savings is you might want to limit that the nights, a few days prior to it, just to help not disrupt your sleep and that momentum that you're trying to build, right? And avoid taking, like, I always say this, I don't take it, but if this is something that you're prescribed, I go by all means take it. Avoid sleep aids like melatonin and prescriptions that can make you drowsy during the day. Now, if you're recommended to take it, do not listen to me, listen to your doctor. I am not your doctor. Listen to your doctor and like go according to what helps for you. These, and then maybe just listen to the tips above while following your doctor's orders. I'm not a doctor. That's just a tip if you don't have to, okay? Reduce screen time. That's just in each season. Reduce the screen time to adjust to the new schedule that you're trying to accommodate, right? And then let's talk about the kids, the kiddos, the parents with kids. The parents with kids. You might got your schedule, right? But what about your kids? So go ahead and try to incorporate them into this routine as well. Plan meals, nap times, bedtimes earlier to help kids adjust to the change, right? They're also losing an hour of sleep too. So let's try to help them out. So those are tips for daylight savings and to help you adjust to that. Some tips to help you transition into spring are similar, sleep hygiene, right? Having a consistent schedule, sunlight exposure, diet change. So this is big, fruits are coming out. It's more seasonal fruits and vegetables. Try incorporating those into your diet for more energy, along with also just being more, having more fresh fruit and vegetables in your body. Physical activity, it's going to be longer days. So, definitely try to incorporate as much, maybe walks at night. That will help with your waistline as well. Walking helps with your waistline. So if you could do that, a few nights, go ahead and incorporate that. And maybe you can make it social by bringing some friends or build a community. There's some walking clubs on Facebook or maybe through your church that you can take a look into as well. Then next, you want to adjust depending on where you're at. For me, I'm going to do it too. You're going to want to adjust your skincare. So lighter moisture, bringing out the sunscreen, help like have some cleansers. If you do natural cleansers at home, you can continue to do that too, but lighter moisturizers, okay? I'm not an esthetician, so I'm not going to get into that, but I definitely highly suggest that you research that too based on your skin, or if you could go to a dermatologist, that'd be good too as well. Skincare is really important along with adjusting to that springtime, okay? And then next is, let's spruce up your living area, whether you're in a dorm, your parents' home, your own home, your office, right? Declutter, rearrange, make it brighter, make it spring-like. It's just going to make it like pop. You know what I mean? So, for me, something that I'm going to do is definitely more lights coming in. I'm definitely going to do something with my office at work. And I'm still thinking about what I want to do with my living room. But yeah, so spruce it up, home spruce up. And then lastly, mental health, right? So be mindful of your mental health. Just like when the winter season's coming, being mindful of that's important, just like the spring. Where are you at? What are some self-care practices? You've been inside, it's been cold. What can you do to like spruce up your mental health? What do you need is the question. What are you longing for is the question. Write that down, spend some time evaluating that and making a plan to reach that, right? And a way that you can do that is because is having community. Community is a big thing for the spring and summer times because of being in the being in the cold during the fall and the winter. So I am suggesting that maybe joining a community group, a fitness group, volunteering, maybe getting some mentorship that can help with your mental health as you transition into the spring and summer seasons. So that's where we're at with this episode. I just wanted to do a quarter 1 reevaluations growth check-in, right? And that's, I wanted to tie this in because if you're looking for a structured way to stay on track, my ebook is coming out that to lay out actionable steps to help you push through when your motivation fades. And the fact is, all of our motivation. So I can't wait till that comes out. Be on the lookout for that because that is coming. We talked about quarter 1. We talked about creating a vision board with daylight savings and spring transitions and tips to help you with that. So I am challenging you to write down 3 things that you want to focus on this spring and take action this week, right? Go ahead and make the plan, okay? I want to show you my vision board, so I got to get started on that. So stay tuned to that and some things that I'm working on, okay? And then lastly, again, if consistency is the goal for you this spring, be on the lookout. My new ebook is coming out and it's going to be available, and I want to hear your thoughts. So again, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of On a Journey with Giselle. I am your host, Giselle, and as I always say, until next time, peace, love, and happiness. I like that.